Good afternoon, dear viewers. Yesterday, I uploaded a video about the properties of transition elements, but unfortunately, that video was not clear on YouTube, और मैंने उस वीडियो को उसी वक्त डिलीट किया. तो आज मैं उसी लेक्चर को दोबारा से आपके सामने डिस्कस कर रहा हूं. तो इस वीडियो में एक्चुअली हम प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ ट्रांजिशन एलिमेंट्स के बारे में बात कर रहे थे. तो सबसे पहले हम एटॉमिक रेडियस प्रॉपर्टी के बारे में बात करेंगे. तो atomic radius of d block elements is in between s and p block elements. When we go across the period from left to right, atomic radius first decreases up to middle. In the middle, this atomic radius almost remains the same, and at the end of the series, this atomic radius increases. What is the reason for it? Two basic quantities which are responsible for this trend is effective nuclear charge and screening effect. At the start of the series, this effective nuclear charge is more than screening effect. That is why atomic radius gets decreases. While in the middle, this effective nuclear charge, it almost equals screening effect or shielding effect. And at the end, this effective nuclear charge is less than that of the screening effect. I will draw a diagram here. This is nucleus. This is 3d orbital and it is 4s orbital. For scandium, first electron goes in 3d orbital. 4s is already complete. First electron goes into 3d orbital. Titanium, second electron, and for vanadium, second electron. We know that as atomic number increases, effective nuclear charge also increases. Due to this increase in effective nuclear charge, these outer electrons, they come very close to nucleus, thereby decreasing atomic radius. Or we can say that this Z effective, that is effective nuclear charge, it is more than screening effect. It is more than the repulsion which outer electrons felt from these inner electrons. That is why atomic radius gets decreases. When we go into the middle, number of electrons in 3d orbital goes on increasing. 3d5, 3d5, 3d6 in case of iron. Now, the extent of this effective nuclear charge, it equals screening effect. अब जितना effective nuclear charge होगा उतना ही screening effect भी होगा. या इन दोनों का जो ये दोनों आपस में एक दूसरे को क्या करेंगे? They will cancel each other effect. That is why this in the middle this atomic radius remains same. And at the end of the series, we know that 3d number of electrons in 3d orbital increases. It increases. It increases. Due to this increase in number of electrons in the inner orbital, screening effect increases. Due to which, or we can say that the effective nuclear charge, the extent or the potential of effective nuclear charge is less than the screening effect, due to which these electrons or outer electrons, they felt more repulsion from the inner electrons. That is why there is increase in atomic radius at the end of the series. Now there is another property, that is ionic radius. But before discussing ionic radius, we will look into group now. स्केडियम, इसके नीचे जो एलिमेंट ग्रुप में है दैट इज यट्रियम, इसके नीचे जो है दैट इज लैंथनम, टाइटेनियम, इसके नीचे है जिरकोनियम, इसके नीचे है हॉफनियम. ग्रुप 3 एंड ग्रुप 4 के लिए when we go down the group, atomic radii first increases. When we go from 3D series to 4D series, 3D series to 4D series, atomic radius increases. Why it increases? Due to increase in number of shells or due to increase in screening effect. However, when we go from 4D to 5D series, 4D to 5D series, it almost remains same. The reason for this trend is lengthened contraction. Lengthened contraction. Lengthened contraction. Lengthened contraction. We know that after lengthenum, the electrons does not go into d orbital, instead they go into f orbital, and that is an exception to the above rule. After filling up this f orbital, a complete filling of this f orbital, in case of hafnium, the electron again goes into d orbital. The shielding effect of this f orbital, due to its shape, its screening effect is less than that of d orbital or other orbitals, p orbital and s orbital, or we can say that this s orbital does not, or we can say that the electrons in the f orbital does not screen the electrons in the other orbitals, due to which the effective nuclear charge, or there is more attraction to the outer electrons from the nucleus than is the case of 4D and 3D series. That is why when we go from 4D series to 5D series, there the atomic radius almost remains same because of the lengthened contraction. Now another property is there, that is ionic radius. Ionic radius. Ionic radius. Ionic radius follow the same trend. Ionic radius it follows the same trend as shown by atomic radius. Ionic radius for different transition elements also depends on the oxidation state. As we know that transition elements show variable oxidation state. So we can state that this ionic radius mostly depends on the oxidation state. Those elements having highest oxidation state have low ionic radius, and those elements having low oxidation state having high ionic radius. Or we can state that those metals having oxidation state +2 have more ionic radius than those elements having oxidation state +3. That is, elements with +2 oxidation state have more ionic radius than the elements with +3 oxidation state. Now, the second property about these transition elements is about metallic character. Metallic character or metallic nature, metallic character. Transition elements are mostly metals, or they show the property of metals. That is, they are malleable, they are ductile, they are hot, they are sonorous, they have a high melting point and boiling point, they are good conductor of heat and electricity, they have high density. The metallic character shown by these transition elements is due to the presence of metallic bonding in them. Or the metallic character shown by these elements is due to metallic bonding. And metallic bonding is caused due to presence of unpaired d electrons. Unpaired d electrons. These unpaired d electrons are overlapped, or we can say they are shared between different, or they are shared between metal atoms, due to which metallic bond is formed, and this formation of metallic bond results in the generation of metallic character in them, that is malleability, ductility, hotness, property of conduction of electric current, high melting point and boiling point, sonorous and density. After this, there is another property, that is melting point and boiling point. melting point and boiling point. Transition elements have high melting point and boiling point due to stronger metallic bond present in them. The melting point of transition elements first increases up to maximum and then it falls at the end of different series, 3D series, 4D series and 5D series. What is the reason for it? Because when we go from left to right, number of unpaired d electrons increases. Number of unpaired d electron increases. Due to the presence of these unpaired d electrons, overlapping between unpaired electrons and the metal atom increases, thereby increasing metallic bond. Stronger the metallic bond is, more is the melting point and boiling point. For example, if we will see in case of first transition series, these are elements, melting point, it will increase up to chromium, then it falls, and at the end of the series it goes down. Because chromium has 6 unpaired electrons in it, and at the end of the series this number of this unpaired electron decrease, or we can say that pairing of the electrons occurs after chromium. That is why after chromium melting point and boiling point decreases. Same is the case with other series. For example, for 4D series, molybdenum have highest number of unpaired electrons. For 5D series, tungsten have highest number of unpaired electrons. These elements have high melting point and boiling point, while as manganese and technetium, because of the presence of unpaired electrons in them, they have abnormal melting point and boiling point. It's a very special case. On going down the group, there is not certain changes in case of melting point and boiling point. Mercury has a melting point of 234 Kelvin, while as for tungsten the melting point is more than 3000 Kelvin. More than 3000 Kelvin. Different books are mentioning differently. After melting point, we will discuss about complex formation. Actually, my camera of the phone is not focusing at the right spot. That is why there is certain delay during the ongoing lecture. Now we'll discuss about catalytic property. Catalytic property. Transition metals, they it's complex formation, property, or it is complex formation. Transition metal atoms form a large number of complexes in which central metal atom binds with another group of atoms. Those groups are called as ligands. And why such binding occurs? Because when we go back into the definition of transitional metal atoms, about transitional metal atoms, जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि transitional metal atoms ऐसे atoms हैं जिनमें इनकम्प्लीटली और पार्शियली फिल्ड पेनल्टिमेट ऑर्बिटल या n-1d ऑर्बिटल है। और इस वजह से हम ये कहेंगे कि जो ये ट्रांजिशन मेटल एटम्स है, इनमें क्या है, इनमें एक्चुअली जो इलेक्ट्रॉन डिफिशिएंट है ये, इस वजह से ये हमेशा उन मॉलिक्यूल से मिलते हैं जिनको इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनेट करने की सलाहियत है, और उन मॉलिक्यूल्स को हम क्या कहते हैं, लिगेंड्स कहते हैं, लिगेंड्स। और इनको हम दूसरा नाम भी कहते हैं, लीविस बेसिस भी कहते हैं, क्योंकि ये लिगेंड्स जो है इनमें एक्चुअली क्या होते हैं, इनमें लोन पेयर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होते हैं, और ये लिगेंड्स हमेशा मेटल एटम्स को इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनेट करते हैं। इसमें क्या है कि कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन में क्या है कि कोई भी ट्रांजिशन मेटल जो है वो एक ग्रुप ऑफ एटम्स के साथ मिलके एक सब्सटेंस बनाता है या एक मॉलिक्यूल बनाता है। उस मॉलिक्यूल को हम क्या कहते हैं, कॉम्प्लेक्स मॉलिक्यूल, और उसको हम क्या कहते हैं, इस सारी प्रॉपर्टी को हम क्या कहते हैं, कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन कहते हैं, कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन। और ये कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन क्यों होती है, क्योंकि जैसा कि आप जानते हो कि जो ट्रांजिशन मेटल्स हैं, ट्रांजिशन मेटल्स में एक्चुअली दे आर इनकम्प्लीट, दे हैव इनकम्प्लीट n-1 d ऑर्बिटल। तो ये कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन के लिए जो ट्रांजिशन मेटल्स हैं इनकी कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज हैं। एक तो इनकी जो चार्ज डेंसिटी है, चार्ज डेंसिटी, चार्ज डेंसिटी मीन्स चार्ज बाय साइज रेशियो, चार्ज डेंसिटी, चार्ज डेंसिटी और चार्ज बाय साइज रेशियो, वो क्या है, वो काफी ज्यादा हाई है। हम ये कहेंगे कि इनकी जो न्यूक्लियर चार्ज है, न्यूक्लियर चार्ज काफी ज्यादा है, मीन इसके इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को अट्रैक्ट करने की सलाहियत काफी ज्यादा है, और साथ में जो इनका साइज है वो कम है। इसकी वजह से क्या है कि ये आसानी के साथ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को अट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं, ये आसानी के साथ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं। दैट इज द फर्स्ट केस फॉर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ फॉर कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन। सेकंड केस जो इनमें है कि इनमें जो पेन अल्टीमेट ऑर्बिटल है, या हम ये कहेंगे कि इनमें इनकम्प्लीटली फिल्ड डी ऑर्बिटल है। जो इनमें डी ऑर्बिटल है ये इनकम्प्लीटली फिल्ड है, ये पूरी तरीके से फिल्ड नहीं है। इस वजह से क्या है कि जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स लिगेंड्स इनको डोनेट करते हैं, ये आसानी के साथ उन इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को किन में ऑक्यूपाई करते हैं, डी ऑर्बिटल्स में ऑक्यूपाई करते हैं। इस वजह से क्या होता है, इस वजह से ये कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्म करते हैं। या हम ये कहेंगे कि जो कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्मेशन में क्या होता है, जो मेटल एटम है ये एक्चुअली इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्सेप्टर है, और जो लिगेंड जो है वो इलेक्ट्रॉन डोनर है। और जो मेटल एटम्स हैं, ट्रांजिशन मेटल एटम्स हैं, इनके पास चार्ज डेंसिटी काफी ज्यादा है, चार्ज इनकी काफी ज्यादा है, साइज इनका काफी छोटा है, और इनमें इनकम्प्लीटली फिल्ड डी ऑर्बिटल्स है, या पेन अल्टीमेट ऑर्बिटल जो है वो इनकम्प्लीटली फिल्ड है। इस वजह से ये आसानी के साथ उन इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को एक्सेप्ट करते हैं जो लिगेंड्स इनको देते हैं। इस तरीके से ये कॉम्प्लेक्स बनाते हैं कुछ। तो दैट कॉम्प्लेक्स, द शेप ऑफ दैट कॉम्प्लेक्स डिपेंड अपॉन द type of orbital in which this give and take of this electron occurs. ये complex जो है ये they can be of linear shape or they can be of square planar, they can be of tetrahedral, octahedral, or they can be trigonal bipyramidal. For linear, sp hybridization occur, or sp orbital takes part in the give and take process. For square planar, there is 1d and 1s and 2p orbitals. Tetrahedral, there is sp3. For octahedral, there is d2sp3. d2sp3. For TBP, trigonal bipyramidal, there is sp3d hybridization. There occurs the hybridization of the orbitals, due to which these complexes attain different shapes. They can be linear, square planar, tetrahedral, octahedral, or trigonal bipyramidal. These transition elements can form certain complexes, certain compounds. Those are called as interstitial compounds. Interstitial compounds. In the case of these interstitial compounds, certain small atoms or small non-metallic atoms like hydrogen, carbon, boron, nitrogen, they occupy the empty sites, or we can say that they occupy the interstitial sites in these transition elements. The new compounds formed due to this are called as interstitial compounds. These interstitial compounds can be hydrides, carbides, borides, nitrides, or halides, due to which these interstitial compounds of the transition elements, they attain certain new properties, like they can be hard, or we can state that their tensile strength increases, or they can be highly malleable, or they can be highly ductile, or we can say that they can be very much rigid. They cannot be deformed by applying certain mechanical forces on them. Small atoms like hydrogen, carbon, boron, nitrogen, they can occupy the interstitial sites in these transition elements to result in the formation of interstitial compounds. The compounds which are formed can be hydrides, carbides, borides, and nitrides. Due to this special character, new properties will be initiated in these transition elements. That is, they can be brittle, they can be hard, they can be malleable, they can be ductile, or they can have high tensile strength. High tensile strength. These compounds are known as interstitial compounds. Now, another property is there. Almost in 10th class, you must be aware about that particular property. That is alloy formation. Alloy formation. These transition elements can, as we know that due to comparison of the atomic size, two transition elements can combine with each other to result in the formation of a homogeneous mixture. That homogeneous mixture of two or more metals is known as alloys. Due to this alloy formation, these metals can be harder, they can have high melting point and boiling point, and they can be more resistant to corrosion. Homogeneous mixture of two or more transition metals. They can be hard, high melting point and boiling point. They can be resistant to corrosion. For example, brass, bronze, steel, stainless steel, these are all the alloys which are formed due to homogeneous mixture of copper and zinc in case of brass, copper and tin in case of bronze, iron and carbon in case of steel, iron, chromium, nickel in case of stainless steel. If we will form this alloy with mercury, अगर हम इन ट्रांजिशन एलिमेंट्स को मरकरी के साथ मिलाएंगे तो उसके लिए हम एक स्पेशल नेम देते हैं एमलगम्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेड एमलगम, अगर हम लेड को मरकरी के साथ मिलाएंगे, कॉपर एमलगम, सिल्वर एमलगम, प्लेटिनम एमलगम, अगर हम इन मेटल्स को का एलॉय जो है वो किसके साथ बनाएंगे, मरकरी के साथ बनाएंगे, तो इसको हम क्या कहते हैं, इसको कहते हैं हम एमलगम्स. So it was about alloy formation. तो इस टॉपिक में और कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज भी हैं. इसमें अभी आयोनाइजेशन एनर्जी है, मैग्नेटिक कैरेक्टर है, ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट है और कलर ऑफ द कॉम्प्लेक्स. अबाउट दीज 4 properties we will discuss in the coming lecture. Till then, it is goodbye from my side.